Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. So here we have a Maths Literacy Paper 1 exam, grade 11, and it is from November 2022. It's 100 marks and it's going to be 2 hours long. If you want to find the paper, just check the description below. The first thing I want to mention in this question is that there are more questions coming up. So this is not the only question. We've also got this one, this one, this one, and that one. So there's 5 questions we will do. Study Miss Jane Bukira's payslip for the month of October 2021 and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so let's just see the basics of here. So this is her payslip. So she obviously works for Miss Jane obviously works for this car washing company, okay? And the payslip just says what she earns and all of that. So her name is Jane, she's a female, and she is a clerk or cashier. Paid days, 30 days, because she was paid for the month of October. Payslip. Okay, so her basic salary was 5,000 Rand. So that is what she earns. Well, let's just get to the question. So it says here, write down Miss Jane Bukira's occupation. Okay, well, the occupation is here. You could say either a clerk or a cashier. So I'm just going to say the first one. Okay. Next question. Calculate her total deductions. So her deductions are over here. So to calculate all the deductions, there's a salary advance. There's this one, and then there's nothing for this value over here. Now let's quickly talk about these things. So what is a salary advance? Let's talk about a salary advance. So a salary advance, it's pretty much like this. Let's say, for example, it was during the middle of the month, and let's say Jane had to urgently go to the dentist. Okay, so Jane had to go to the dentist, and the dentist came up to 650 Rand. Now let's say Jane did not have 650 Rand available in that exact moment. What they can then do is they can ask the company, or they can borrow money from the company. So you can imagine Jane asks her boss, "Hi boss, can I please borrow 650 Rand?" All that will happen then is that when Jane gets paid her next salary, which is this one over here, they're just going to take the 650 Rand off. Okay? So they're going to take it away from her because she borrowed it. So she's just paying it back. Okay? That is what a salary advance is, and that is why it is a deduction. They're going to take that money off of her salary because she needs to pay it back. They gave her the 650 Rand so she could use it immediately, but then when she gets paid, like she's getting paid on this paper here, she has to give the 650 Rand back. Okay, let's quickly talk about the PAYE. Well, that's your tax that you have to pay. So if you work for a normal company one day, as soon as you get your salary, they're already going to take money off because of tax. And that is going to be, it stands for pay as you earn. So, for example, I'll explain myself. I don't work for someone. I work for myself. So I'm what you called self-employed. So when my money comes in, none of that goes to tax immediately. What happens is that every 6 months, my accountant does my taxes for me, and they tell me, Kevin, for the last 6 months, this is what you have to pay. So I'm still paying tax, but I have to pay a larger amount because I'm only paying every 6 months. Whereas if you have a normal job one day where you work for like a normal company, then you pay your taxes every single month, but it's not something that you have to do. Your company does it for you. You see, it's pay as you earn. So let's say, for example, she earns 5,000 Rand. When she gets her salary at the end of the month, it will be less than 5,000 because they've already paid the tax for her. So it's not something she has to do. It already gets paid for her automatically. Whereas myself, because I'm self-employed, if no one pays my taxes for me, well, I'm going to be landing up in prison fairly soon. I have to be responsible and I have to go and pay my taxes. It's not something that comes off my money automatically. It almost makes it easier for people who work for like a normal company because you don't have to save up and save up. Like, I know that in 6 months I'm going to have to pay quite a lot of money for my taxes, so I have to keep that money aside. Whereas if you just work for a normal company, it's just part of your everyday kind of stuff, and so you hardly notice it at all. Okay, so that's what that is. And then UIF, which stands for Unemployment Insurance Fund. Now let's quickly explain what it is. So what we can see here is that Jane has to pay 61 Rand and 25 cents every single month that she gets paid. So that money gets put into a unemployment insurance fund. So the way that it works is that if one day let's say Jane loses her job for some reason, then if she does not have another job, then she is classified as unemployed. She can then go to wherever she needs to go, and she can ask for some of that money to be paid to her on a monthly basis. Because she has been contributing to her unemployment insurance fund, then she is legally allowed to go and, when she's unemployed, she can go and get a little bit of money back to hopefully keep herself going until she can find more work. Okay, and so that's what that is. And then other deductions, well, there's nothing over here. So what is her total deductions? Well, it's the 650, the 774, and the 61.25. So you're just going to go add those numbers together. 650 plus 774 plus 61 Rand and 25 cents. If we add that all together, we get a value of 1485.25. 1485. Whoa, Kev. 1485.25. 1485. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I didn't write that very nicely. There we go. Okay, this question says, show by means of calculations how the overtime payment of 1,125 Rand was determined. Okay, so overtime. What is overtime? Think about it. Overtime. So if you are supposed to work from 8 until 5 on a Monday to Friday, 8 until 5, let's say. Then let's say for some reason you have to work a little bit later than 5 o'clock on some afternoons, or maybe you have to come into work before 8 o'clock, or maybe you have to work a little bit on a Saturday or a Sunday. So those hours that are outside of your normal hours are called overtime hours, okay? Because it's over the time. So this lady, Jane, she did 45 overtime hours in the month. That is crazy. Oh no, that's actually not too bad. I was thinking of what some people work per week. Never mind. I just had my own little brain moment there. Okay, so that's not too bad, I guess. Now, if you work overtime, you get paid a little bit extra. So some people actually like to work overtime because they get paid extra. So this overtime is 45 hours, and for every hour that she works overtime, she earns 25 Rand. So if you multiply those two numbers together, you end up with 1,125 Rand, and that's how we calculate that. This question says, define the term net pay according to the above context. Okay, so net pay is this one over here. Well, let me show you how they're getting to, let me show you how they're getting to this value, and then you'll understand what net pay is. So we know that the basic salary, the salary that this lady's supposed to earn is 5,000 Rand, okay? But then she also works overtime, so she earns an extra 1,125. So her total income, if you add these two numbers together, is going to be 6,125 Rand. But then she also has deductions, which we calculated here as 1485.25. And so if you say 5,000 plus 1,125 minus 1485.25, you end up with your net pay. So your income, these two parts here, that's your total income, and we call that your gross income. Gross income. Okay? But then your gross income is not your actual income because all of your deductions have to be taken away first. That was a perfect over. I don't know if you guys saw that. So net pay is the amount received by an employee after all deductions have been subtracted from the gross income. So we take the gross income and we take away all of the deductions, and then you end up with your net pay. Okay, this one. Calculate the, this is a 3 marker. Calculate the amount to be added to Jane basic salary if the basic salary is increased by 7.5% for November. Okay, so this was October, and in October, Jane earned 5,000 Rand. But now they're going to increase her salary by 7.5%. So what you could do is you could just say, okay, what is 7.5% of 5,000 Rand? That's what we want to work out. What is 7.5% of 5,000 Rand? So we know that of means times. Now, if you type this on your calculator, it'll give you 0.075. Okay, of means times, and then you just say 5,000. And that's 375 Rand. So that is the increase that Jane will... What is the amount that we're going to add? So that is the answer, 375. Grade 11 maths learners wrote a test marked out of 50 marks. Their results are displayed on the graph below showing the distribution of marks. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at this. So over here we've got the mark range. Okay, so these people, they got anywhere between 0 and 5 out of 50. These are not percentages, these are marks out of 50. Okay, so let's just say here out of 50. Then, for example, these people got 6 to 10. These people got between 36 and 40. So you get the idea. So, for example, there are 40 learners who got between 11 and 15. So they got maybe 11 or 12 or 13, 14 or 15. Okay. So it says name the type of graph. Now, you get 2 types of graphs that look similar to this. You get a histogram and you get a bar graph. Now, only one of those is correct. What you must remember is that a bar graph has gaps in between. So it does that. So what you can see in between is that there are empty spaces or gaps. That is a bar graph. But in this one, we can see that there are no gaps in between. So this is going to be a histogram. This question says, determine the number of learners that wrote the test. Well, what we'll do is we know that in this category, these learners, there were 30 learners altogether. So there's 30 over there. In this category, there's 25 learners. Then there was 40 learners here, 35 here, 25 here, 20, 15, 10, 10, and 5, because that would be 5. So now you can just go add all of those numbers together. So you're just going to say 30 plus 25 plus 40 plus 35 plus 25. You get it. And we should get 215. Now it says, how many learners scored within the modal class? Now, what is modal class? Let's talk about that. Remember, with statistics, we get mean, we get mode, and we get median. Now, the mode, can you remember what that is? Well, that is the value that appears the most. So if you look at these different categories, which category appeared the most? Well, it's going to be this one, because there were 40 learners in that category. So that category is the most popular. So that is called so it says how many learners are inside the modal class. So your modal class is this, and how many learners are there? 40. This question says, calculate the marks out of 50 for a learner who obtained 68%. Okay, so if you have a test out of 50, okay, so your test was out of 50. If you only get 68, or if you get 68, that's not a bad mark. I didn't mean to say only as in like it's a bad mark. But if you get 68%, then what you do is you could say, what is 68% of 50. What is 68% of 50? So we know that percentage, you could type that on your calculator, so it should give you 0.68. Of means times, and then 50. And if we do this correctly, you would get 34. So this person got 34 out of 50. With this question, the first thing I will show you is that there are more than one question. So there's going to be more over there, and then we're going to go all the way up to number 5. Okay, so it says, Aunt Louie, or Louise, an educator, Aunt Louie, I don't know if it's Louise, whatever. Aunt Louise, an educator, compares the pension fund estimates for the year 2021 and 2022. She wants to resign at the end of 2022. Study the information below. Okay, so this first question says, write down the value of the lump sum payable in 2021. Okay, so we're only looking in 2021, and we want to know the lump sum. So let's just see, there's multiple lump sums here. So there's discharge lump sum gratuity, and then there's also lump sum over here. But then I see here it says payable to the beneficiaries. Okay, I was wondering which one it was. There we go, payable to the beneficiaries in 2021. So you're just going to go write that number down. 2470783. Okay, number 2. The resignation benefit for the year, okay, resignation benefit, this one down here, for the year 2021 is 166,417 Rand less than in 2022. Calculate how much it will be in 2021. Okay, so they told us how much it is in 2022 over there. It's that a number over there. Now, they said that in 2021, it's that much less. It's that much less. So we will just go and we'll just say 2,836,836 subtract 166417, and if we type that all in, we end up with 2670419. Okay, this question says, calculate the annual amount for the year of 2022, that Aunt Louise will receive for the monthly pension. Round your answer to the nearest 100. Okay, calculate the annual amount for the year 2022 that Aunt Louise will receive for the monthly pension. Okay, so this is listen carefully, it's a monthly pension. Okay, because they've said monthly pension, but that's monthly. But they want to know, calculate the annual. When you say annual, that means per year. So all that we'll do is we will take that amount, because they said in 2022. So we will take 26383, multiply that by 12, and that'll give 316596. Okay, but then they also said, round your answer off to the nearest 100. So if you had to round this to the nearest 100, it would become, so it's the number 316596. So if you're rounding to the nearest 100, that's this number. Now, when you are rounding, to know what you're going to round it to, you always look at the number next to that. And that number is going to make it go up. So it's going to go to 3166. 100, and so that would be the final answer for this question. Okay, then this question says, Aunt Louise claimed that the lump sum gratuity, okay, lump sum gratuity, here it is here. Okay, this one's payable to beneficiaries. This is also lump sum. Yeah, it's probably going to be this one over here. They're not mentioning beneficiaries. So it says the lump sum gratuity for 2022 is this much more than the lump sum in 2021. Let's see if she is correct. That's what they say that's what they mean when they say verify. So what we'll do is will say the one in 2022. So we'll say 919363 minus 884198. And if we go calculate that, we get 35615, and so she was correct. Okay, so you would just say that she is Correct. All right, so now this last part says give one advantage of an employee contributing towards the pension fund. Okay, so what they mean is the following. Guys, one day when you go and get a job, if you get a normal kind of job where you work for someone, they are typically going to, let's say they pay you, let's just say, okay, no, I'm gonna put good energy on you guys. Let's say they pay you 35,000 Rand straight out of university or straight out of school. Okay, so that's a nice salary. Now let's say they're paying you 35,000 Rand per month. Okay, now they're going to take some of that money away for things like pay as you earn, which is like your tax. They're going to take some of it away for UIF and unemployment fund, and then they're going to take things away for, I don't know, there's other things, but maybe one of them is for pension. So what that means is, let's say they take 1,000 Rand. Then that means they're going to take your 1,000 Rand away from this number over here, and they're going to put it into your pension fund, so that one day when you reach a certain age, like 65 or whatever age you want to go into retirement, then you will be able to, all these 1,000 Rands that they were doing every single month while you were working for like 40 years, those 1,000 Rands are going to earn interest, it's going to grow, and you're going to be paid out quite a large amount of money so that you can comfortably live from the age of when you retire, which is usually around 65, until the day you pass, which could be when you're 75, 85, 95. That pension is supposed to make it, you're supposed to be able to live with that. Because remember, after 65, if you don't have another type of work, then you're not going to be earning money. And so your pension is what will take care of you from the age of 65 until you die, pretty much. So one of the main advantages is that it allows you to earn money after you retire. The first thing I want to mention about this question is that there will be more questions on the next slide. So we've got here, 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 and this is the last one. Okay, so 4 different questions. So it says, John Matu sells Samsung cell phones. The price list given below shows the cost price and the profit for the different cell phones. Study the price list and then answer the questions. All prices include VAT. Okay, first question. Determine the selling price of the Samsung Galaxy A72, which is this one over here. So guys, the way that it works, John sells cell phones, okay? So he needs to, he buys his cell phones from the supplier. So he buys the cell phones using a cost price, okay? The cost price of that cell phone is 7,499.25 cents. But John then wants to sell that cell phone to you. And when he sells it to you, he needs to make a little bit of profit. So he purchased it from the supplier for that amount, then he needs to make this amount of profit. So how much would he sell it to you for? Well done if you realize that you would need to add those two numbers together. Okay, and if you had to go add these two numbers together, you get 9999. So this is the price that you would pay if you had to go buy that cell phone from John. You would pay 9999. He paid that amount, and then he added on a little bit so that he can make profit, because this is his business, okay? Determine the ratio, in simplest form, of the total profit to the total income from the sale of the 4 cell phones. Okay, so they want to know the ratio of the total profit. Okay, so we need to go look at all of the profits, and we need to go add them all up together quickly. So total profit is going to be 1,099 plus go ahead, add that all together, and that'll be total profit is 14,549 Rand. Okay, that's the total profit. They said total profit to the total income. Ooh, we got to be careful here. The total income. What is the total income? the income is not this number. That is the amount that John spends when he buys the cell phones. So we actually need to go and work out the selling price of all 4 of these cell phones now. So remember, you just add these 2 numbers together. I'm going to do that quickly. So this one is 4,399 Rand. This one we already worked out as 9999. This one is going to be 14,799. And then this one, wow, this one's expensive. 21749.25 plus 7249.75. 28,999 Rand. Okay, so the total income, let's go add all of those numbers together. So we're going to go 4399 plus 9999 plus 14799 plus 28999. Go ahead. Okay, and that'll give us 58,196 Rand. Okay, now they want us to make a ratio of those 2 numbers. So we're going to put the 14,549, and they want us to make a ratio with 58196. What I tried to do immediately is I just tried to see, does this number go inside this number? And it actually does. If you go divide this number by 14,549, it gives you exactly 4. So then we can do simplify the ratio to 1 to 4, okay? Because you can divide this one by 14,000. Okay, this next question says that John Matu ran out of the cheaper phones. He placed an order for the cell phones, the A31 and A72. Okay, so these were the cheaper ones. Okay. In the ratio of 2 to 1. Okay, so what that means is he ordered some of these cell phones and he ordered 2 to 1. So if he ordered 10 of these, then he ordered 5 of those, because that's 2 to 1. If he ordered 8 of these, then he ordered 4 of those. If he ordered 20 of these, then he ordered 10 of these. You understand? So that's what they mean over here. A total of 15 cell phones have been ordered. Verify with necessary calculations that the total cost price for the order is that amount over there. Okay, I don't know. Whoa, zoom in. Don't know what happened there. Okay. So, think about this, guys. This number, this one, is double this one. So if this is 8, this is 4. So how much does that add up to? That adds up to 12. But how many cell phones did he purchase? Well, he purchased 15. So if this is 10, or let's say this is 12, this is 6. That's 18. That's too many cell phones. So maybe he ordered 10 of these and 5 of these. What does that add up to? 15. So he ordered 10 Samsung or 10 A31s, and he ordered 5 A72s. There is a better way we could have done that. We've learned this in previous lessons before, where if you have a certain amount of a number like 15, okay, and you've got a ratio of 2 to 1, you can break that number 15 up. The way that we used to do that is you would add these 2 numbers together, so that gives you 3, okay? So then what I used to say is, you can imagine that there would be 3 boxes. So if you take the number 15 and you divide it up into 3 boxes, well, each box would have a 5. Okay, now this part is 2 of the parts, so that's 10. And then this one is only 1 of the boxes, and so that would be 5. Okay, I used to show you that with other examples. Like, for example, let's say we have 1,200 Rand, and you break it up into the ratio of 3 to 4 to 5. Okay, now if you had to go add these 3 numbers together, it would give you 12. So you could imagine 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you take the number 1,200 and you divide that by 12, well, that'll give you 100. So each of these boxes is 100 Rand. So then this part would be 3 of the boxes. That would be 300 Rand. This would be 400 Rand. And this would be 500 Rand. Okay, so we're just breaking a number up into smaller ratios. Okay, so if this guy orders 10 A31s, well, what's that going to cost him? Well, remember, to order, he has to pay that amount over there. So we're going to say 3299.25 multiplied by 10. And that would give you 32,992 Rand and 50 cents. Okay, now if you order 5 A72s, well, that's going to cost, each one is going to cost him 7499.25. This is not us buying from him, this is him ordering from his supplier. That's why he's paying cost price. Now he ordered 5 of those, and that's going to give 37,496.25. So if we then had to go and add these two numbers together to see what the total would be, we hope and pray that it gives us that number there. Otherwise, we've done it completely wrong. Okay, so if you add those two numbers together, boom, you're going to get 70,488 Rand and 75 cents. Okay, the cost price of the Samsung A31 in the year 2020. Okay, so this is the year 2021, and look at the cost price of the A31. It's 3,299. So in 2020 it was actually more expensive. Okay, so in 2020 it was 3399.75, which is that amount there, and then in 2021 it was 3,299 Rand and 25 cents. So it's actually cheaper now in 2021. It makes sense. Why? Because new cell phones come out, and so those models become older. Like this model is no longer... Okay, so back in 2020, this was maybe this was the more popular phone, but in 2021, it's become more old. It's not really, it's an older phone, so that's why it's selling for cheaper. Okay, not that important. The cost price, blah, blah, blah. It is costing less this year due to new cell phones on the market. Oh, they just told us that. Calculate the percentage decrease on the cost of the A31. Give your answer to the nearest percentage. You may use the following formula. Okay, so the new price is going to be the later year, so that's the newer one, and this would be the old one. Okay, so we could say percentage is going to be the new price, which is 3299.25 minus the old price, 3399.75, over the old price, and then times 100. But don't put the percentage on the calculator. Okay, so if you go, let's just write that a bit better, times 100. If you calculate this, okay, you get a negative answer, but that's expected because we're getting we're decreasing. So we could just say negative 2.96%. And then lastly, I nearly missed this. It says give your answer to the nearest percentage. So that'll just be negative 3%. And then we won't leave our answer with a negative. We will say 3% decrease. Okay, and so, yeah, hope that makes sense. Mr. John Matu received the statement indicating water tariffs for the month of March 2021. Study the water tariffs below from DJB Municipality. Okay, so, all right, so we can just see that in this category, Mr. Matu uses this many kiloliters, and that is the price per kiloliter. Okay, we've looked at water tables before, right? You guys know how to do this. And then he used this category and this category. Okay, use the information and the table above to answer the following question. So it says, Mr. Matu asked his two sons to calculate the amount, including, whereas this says excluding. Look out for that. He has to pay. Son A calculates that. Okay, so he's taking his two sons and he's teaching them a bit of maths and seeing who can do it. John claimed that son B was correct. Verify showing all calculations whether the statement is correct. Okay, so let's go. We're pretty much going to go calculate how much this guy uses. So remember, the way that these tables work is that we used 6.11 kiloliters at that amount over there. So this is the price per kiloliter. So if you use 1 kiloliter, that's how much you pay. If you use 2 kiloliters, then you're going to double that. If you use 3 kiloliters, then you're going to triple that. So what if you use that many kiloliters? Well, all that you'll do is you'll just multiply them. Okay, and then for this one, you'll do the same. And then for this one, you'll do exactly the same. Okay, so we're going to go multiply all of those together. Let's actually just do it properly over here. And so that's going to give us 103 Rand and 826619. Okay, so that's how much money they used on on water in that category. Now we're going to do the next one, 4.7073. Guys, I've got these neighbors and the dog doesn't stop barking. It's crazy. When my dogs bark, I instantly bring them inside because I'm very conscious or thoughtful that I'm not making a noise. But my neighbors, I think they go to work and they leave this little dog outside and it just barks all day. I've even put a complaint in before, but it doesn't seem like anything's working. Because we live in like a estate kind of place, so you can give like a complaint, and they send the people an email, but never really does anything. Don't get me wrong, I love animals. I'm not cross with the dog. I mean, the dog's just being a dog. But the people, you can't just go to work and leave your dog outside and not know that your dog barks all day. Maybe I should just go tell them. 56932749. Okay. And then this last one is 21817 times 24.06370. And that'll give 67.7874429. Okay, now you're just going to go add all of these numbers together. So just go ahead, add them all together. And we're going to end up with 242 Rand. And then let's round off to 2 decimals so long. So that's 18. Now, none of the sums are correct. But we need to remember that we need to include VAT. So remember to include VAT. Okay, so in previous recordings, what we've said is that a quick way to include VAT is you just multiply the number with 1.15. If they're using 14%, then obviously this will become a 14. Okay, so if we want to add VAT, we're just going to multiply this by 1.15, and that will give us 278.51. Now, I thought we had made a mistake because not one of the sons got it correct, and usually they like to have a happy ending in these questions, but this is just not... Yeah, this is not a happy ending. Both the kids got it wrong. So is the statement, and this is correct, by the way, I checked on the memo. So is his statement correct? No, his statement is invalid. Statement invalid. Because he said that son B was correct, but not A or B is correct. And also, John is also not correct because he agrees with son B. So we need to go over to these guys' house and teach them how to use a water table, guys. Okay. With this question, there's going to be more than one page. So here's the first page, second page, and third. So we're going to go all the way up to 7 questions. Okay, so motor trade sales in the months January to December for the years 2018 and 19 are at current prices, then are shown in the table one below. Okay, so pretty much they're just showing us different motor vehicle prices. So in January in 2018, it was 53,000. Or wait, motor trade sales, in million. Okay, so that's out of all of the vehicles sold, 53 million Rand, or 53,044 million. Okay, so it's huge amounts of money. Okay, so it says, write down the month and the year when the trade sales were the lowest of the 2 years. Okay, so the lowest, I'm seeing a 49 over there. Yep, that's the lowest. So that's the lowest in this one. Is that also the lowest in this one? Oh no, they're talking about altogether. So altogether, yeah, that is the lowest. So it was April of 2018. This question, determine the range for the amount of trades in the year 2019. Okay, so we know that range means your highest minus your lowest. So the highest value that I can see, there's a 59 here, and then there's also a 59 here, but this one is larger. That's 59,960. Then your smallest value, I can see there's a 52 here, and there's a 52 here. But if you look carefully, this one is the smallest, so we'll say 52,361. Now if you had to go work this out, you end up with 7599, but this is in millions, so just say million at the end. This question over here says, write down the total amount of the trade sales for the year 2018 in words. Okay. Oh, 2018. Yeah, so it's that one. Okay, so they want that in words. Okay, well, if we go take out the number 666424. Okay, so we've written the number down, 66424, but then remember that it's actually got a million at the end. Now, a million is 6 zeros. So the way that you do this is the following. I always like to group it into threes like that. Okay, now remember that if you have 9 digits, that means billion. 6 means million. And 3 means thousand. Okay, what they mean by that is, for example, if you have this number, that's 5,000 because there's 3 over there. If you have this number, then it's 5 million because there's 6 over there. And then if you have this, then there's 9 things over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 5 billion. Okay, so what you do when you've grouped it into threes like this is you take the first 3 and you just write that number down. 666. 666. Then you look at how many values or numbers are there after that. That's 9. So you're going to say billion over here. Okay, so we've done the first part. Now you move on to this next part. So we're here now. So we're going to write that number, 424. Okay, now you look at this. How many numbers are there? Million. Or it's 6, so it's million. And that's it. Of course, we would just keep carrying on if this part had something, but it doesn't. So that would be your answer. 666,424,000,000. This question says, calculate the mean for the year 2018. Oh, seriously? They're going to make us go calculate the mean of all of that? Ugh. Okay, so remember you get mean, you get mode, and you get median. Now, the mean is the average. Remember, like if you have a report, and let's say for English you got 70, for Afrikaans you got 52, for maths you got 80, for life orientation you got 50, and let's say one more, let's say history. For history you got 90. Now, to work out your average, how would you do that? Well, I'm sure you've done this before. You add all of these numbers together, and then you divide by how many numbers there are. How many? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you would have divided by 5 there. So unfortunately, what this means is that we are going to go and add up every single one of these numbers. Oh, they've already done it for us. Ha ha! Yes, they've already done that for us because that's already the total. Okay, so we'll just take this value, which is 666,424, divide that by 12, and that'll give us 55535.33. But then remember that this was million, so we're also just going to say million to the end of this one. Okay. Okay, so this question says, determine the median of the trade sales in the year 2019. So remember what the median stands for. Median stands for middle. But we have to make sure that all of the numbers have first been arranged from smallest to largest. So the smallest one here is this number. So that's going to be 52361. Okay, so we've done that one. Then there was another 52 over there. So that's 52718. 52718. Then is there any 5 3s? Yes, 53844. Okay, and then are there any 5 4s? Yes, there's a few of them. There's this one, and this one. So this would be the smallest. So 54249. Then it's this one, 54467. And then 54981. 54981. Okay, now we're going to look for the 5 5. So 5 5 is over there. 5 5 646. 5 5 646. Then there is a 5 6 846. So 56846. Then 57915. 58435. And then this one 59270. And then 59960. Okay, so to find the middle, what I like to do is I cross off from the front and from the back. Then I cross off again. Whoopsie, why is it doing that? Cross off again. Cross off. Cross off. Cross off. Cross off. Cross off. Cross off. Now, because we left with two numbers here, can you remember what to do? How do we find the average of those two numbers? Well, you add them together and then divide by 2. And that'll give us 55313.5 million. Don't forget the million. Okay, this question says, express the amount of trade sales in October 2018 as a percentage of the total trade sales for the year 2018. Okay, it's very easy. If you write a test out of 50, and let's say you get 32 out of 50, how do you calculate your percentage normally? Well, you normally say 32 divided by 50 and then multiplied by 100. Okay, now they're asking us to do the exact same thing over here. They're telling us that it's the year 2018. They said out of the total, what is October? So the total is 666,424. Now here we don't need to say million, because if you say million for both, it's just going to cancel out, okay? You could say million if you want to, but you don't have to. And then this one's going to be 60,406. So it's almost like you wrote a test out of that, and this is what you got. And then you're going to say times by 100. That'll be express. Okay, then it asks us to round off. So 9.06%. Okay, and then this one says determine the probability using a fraction of randomly selecting a month that shows a decline in the amount of trade sales from 2018 to 2019. Okay, so that seems like a mouthful, but all that they're wanting you to do is the probability to choose a month that shows a decline from 2018 to 2019. So for example, that would be one of them. Can you see that in November, in 2018, going to 2019, the sales decreased? Okay, so we could choose January, February, March, April, all the way to December. So we have 12 different places where we could look. Now let's see. In January, did the sales go down or up? Well, they went from 53,044 to 53,844. So that went up. We're not going to choose that one. February, the sales went down. Can you see that? From 2018 to 2019, the sales went down. So we'll choose that one. In March, the sales went down. Can you see that? There we go. April, the sales went up. So we're not going to choose that one. In May, the sales went up. Not going to choose that one. In June, the sales went down from 55 to 54. In July, went up. August, went up. September, this is a tricky one, but it went up. Can you see that this number is smaller than this number? Okay. In October, it went down. Yes, we'll choose that one. And then November, it went down. And December, it went up. Okay, so we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 12. That's the answer. This question does have multiple parts, so I was only able to fit that question. But then we're still going to have this part, and this part, and this part. Miss Jenna starts a shoe repair business to repair old shoes, restore their quality, and make them user-friendly. That sounds funny. Below are the weekly costs and charges involved. Okay, I cut that off a little bit. I'm sorry. Now it says, to rent the room, 250 Rand. Salaries, 400 Rand. Materials required per pair of shoes. Each customer is charged 75 Rand. So, okay. The first question says, write down the weekly total fixed costs that Miss Jenna pays per week. So fixed costs are costs that never ever change. So for the week, the renting of the room, that does not change. If Miss Jenna does 500 shoes, or if she does 10 shoes, she's still going to pay the same amount of rent. Okay? Salaries. She's probably okay, so let's say she's got 3 people working for her, and let's just assume that she always keeps 3 people working for her, so she's always going to pay 400 Rand salaries. Now the materials, that's not a fixed cost. Why? Well, if she repairs 5 pairs of shoes, and if she repairs 100 pairs of shoes, that's going to mean she's going to need more material or less material. Okay, so that's not a fixed cost. Fixed means it doesn't change. So these are the only 2 fixed costs, and so that's going to be 650 Rand. Once again, if she repairs 5 pairs of shoes, whereas compared with if she repairs 100 pairs of shoes, she's going to need different amounts of material. So that is not a fixed amount, that's a variable amount. It can change. Table 2 below shows the income and expenses from the business. Okay, so let me try help you to understand these numbers. I like to always do that. Let's ignore all of these. So, we know that this lady has to spend 250 Rand on rent, and she has to spend 400 Rand on salaries. So what would happen if she doesn't fix anyone's shoes? Does she still have to pay her rent? Yes. Does she still have to pay the people who work for her? Yes. So if you fix 0 shoes, you're going to pay 650 Rand, and your income is going to be 0. Okay, now, if you do 5 pairs of shoes, do you still have to pay your rent? Yes. Do you still have to pay your salaries? Yes. So for 5 pairs of shoes, we're already having to spend 650 Rand. Plus, now let's see what else they tell us here. To repair a pair of shoes, it's 25 Rand. Okay. So if she repairs 5 pairs of shoes, then that's going to be 5 times 25. So that becomes 650 plus 125, which is 775 Rand. Hello. That's the expense. How much money does she earn? Well, it says that she, on average, each customer is charged 75 Rand per pair. So if she fixes 5 pairs, then her income, the money that she earns, will be 5 multiplied by 75, and that gives you 375 Rand. There we go. So that's how these numbers are working. Okay, so the first question says calculate the missing value of A. Okay, so if you repair 20 pairs of shoes, do you still have to pay your rent? Of course. Do you still have to pay your salaries? Of course. So that's already going to be 650 Rand. Okay, plus to repair a pair of shoes, remember it costs you 25 Rand. So if she's going to repair 20 pairs of, if she's going to repair 20 pairs of shoes, then that's going to cost her that amount over there. Okay, now if you want to know what that amount is, that is 500 Rand. So if you had to go add this all together, that's going to be 650, 1150. So there we're going to say 1150. Okay, now this question for 5 marks says, Miss Jenna has learned that starting a business is not easy. It takes time to get your business known. Okay, use the information above and table 2 to show by means of calculations that Miss Jenna made a loss of 200 Rand in the 3 weeks. Okay, so in week 1, she repairs 5 pairs of shoes. In week 2, she repairs 10. And then in week 3, she repairs 20. Okay, so we're not using this column and this column. Okay, that's pretty random. So let's have a look. In week 1, she repairs 5 pairs of shoes. Okay, so let's just use this one here. So the income is 375 and the expenses. So did she make money or did she lose money here? Well, she lost money. So if you say 775 minus 375, that's going to be a 400 Rand loss. In this one, how much did she spend? 900 Rand. And how much was her income? 750. So she also lost money here. Okay. Then in this week, she earned 1,100. Oh no, her expenses was 1,150. but her income was 1,500. Okay, so this week was better. She made money here. So if we say 1,500 minus 1,150, that is 350 Rand, and that is a profit. Right, so if you then look at your profit minus your loss, minus your other loss, you end up with negative 200 Rand. And that means that she lost 200 Rand in the first 3 weeks. Okay, a line graph showing the income from the repair shoes has been drawn on answer sheet 1, which is over here. Okay, so this is our income. Use the same grid on answer sheet 1 to draw another line graph showing the expenses. Okay, so the expenses were these ones over here. So let's quickly go get this table. Okay, so this graph that they've done here is already the income. Okay, so we're just going to look at the expenses. So when it is number of pairs sold is 0, then your expenses is 650. So our graph is going to start. Now you got to be careful here. So this goes to 800. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got to try to figure out what it is. I think it's 640, 680, 720, 760. That's it. So it's, let me just make that clear to you. So if it's 600 here and 800, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines in between, then it's, you got to get the spacing right. So that's 640, 680, 720, and 760. Okay, so where would 650 be? Well, 650 would be just past the 640, so it would be somewhere there. Okay, then expenses would be 775 for 5 pairs of shoes, so we go up to 775, which would be just after the 760, so it would be like there. Okay, then for 10 pairs of shoes, it's going to be on 900, okay? So 10 pairs of shoes, 900, so that's 840, that's 880, that's 920, so that's going to be there, okay? Then for 15 pairs of shoes, it's going to be 1,025, so 15, okay, so that's 1,000, that would be 1,040, because remember, each one is going up by 40. So 1,025 would be just under there. Just like that. And then for 18 pairs of shoes, okay, so now we've got to find 18 because that's 15 and that's 20. So 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so 16, 17, 18. So that's this one. And that's going to be 1,100 Rand. So 1,100. So that's along this line. I know it's not that clear, guys. So it's along this line. So if that's 1,000, that's 1,040, that's 1,080, that's 1,120. So it's halfway between those ones. Okay. And then this one we got is 1,150 for 20 pairs of shoes. So 1,150. So that's 1,040, 1,080, 1,120, 1,160. So it would be there. Wow, I don't know why they did that. It's not usual that they do that. Okay, now you would try connect a straight line through all of that. Now, obviously, you guys would use a ruler, okay? And I'm going to do my best to get it as a straight line. Okay, but you would use a ruler. Okay, and then this last one says, use the graph to determine the number of pairs at the break even. So break even is where your income and expenses are equal. So it's pretty much over there. So I'm just going to go down, 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 down. And that would be 11, 12, 13. So this lady must sell 13 pairs of shoes or more in order to be profitable. Because she has to cover her rent, her salaries, and all of those things. Miss Jane's brother, who lives in Japan, sent her money to assist her in her business. Okay, so we've got this brother who lives in Japan. Japanese flag. Okay, no, I can't really remember what it looks like, but there's Japan. And then we've got this other lady. Let's pretend she lives in South Africa. Yeah, we're using Rand. Okay, so we are in SA. And this is Miss Jane. and this guy is going to send her money. Okay, he's sending her 25,000 Japanese yen. Okay, determine the amount of money that she will get in rands. So it says that 1 yen is that much rand. Okay, so 1 yen is the same as 0.1352364. So if you have 25,000 yen, so I can go multiply it by 25,000, and that'll give me 25,000 yen. But because I multiplied this one by 25,000, I'm also going to multiply this one by 25,000. And so if you had to go do that, that'll be the equivalent of 3380.91 rand. Okay, that's it. So with this question, there is a second part coming up, so over there. Okay, so it says, a grade 11B mathematical literacy class at Nyani Secondary School participated in a research project where their gender and weight was recorded. The raw data, okay, so we've got females and males, we've got weights and kilograms. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward what they're doing. Now, I see there is something missed out over there. I just want to double check that it's like that on the question paper. Yeah, I was just scared that sometimes I put there might have been like a white block covering it that I didn't see, or blah, 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 blah. Okay, but that's an empty space. Complete the frequency table that the teacher left incomplete. Use answer sheet number 2, which is this one over here. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Let's see how they did this. So in the 50 to 59 category, for the females, we had that, and that, and then for the males, oh, I see how they're doing it. Oh, okay. So for the females, there's 1 and 2, and that's why for female, there's 2. Okay. For the males, let's see in the 50 category, 50 to 59, there's 1 and... Okay, now I was a bit confused because there is only one person here, but they said that there was 2, but on the memo, there's only 1. So I don't know if that was a mistake or if they expected us to do that. Okay, so we were supposed to know that we need to correct the mistake there. Okay, so in the 60 to 69 kilogram for the females, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where they've got the 4 over there. Because there was a mistake here, I don't know if we have to go check all their mistakes now. Let's quickly do that. So in the 70 to 79 for the females, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that one they've done correctly. In the 80 to 89, there is 1. Yep, that's also what they have, 1. In the 90 to 99, 1. Yep. And then in the 100 to 109, there's 1. Okay, so all of that is correct. Now let's go finish up with the males. So in the 60 to 69, there's 1, 2. So we put 2 like that. In the 70 to 79, there's 5. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. And then we say 5 over here. In the 80 to 89, there is 1, 2, 3. In the 90 to 99, 1. Yeah, just 1. And then in the 100 to 109, there is 0. This one says, use the above information from the table, which we already saw over here, and the table, and your answer sheet. Okay, so we need this table over here. Okay, hold on, guys. I'll get it for us. So there we go. Use the above information, blah, 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 blah. Okay, in which category do most of the females fall? So if the females are here, then the highest frequency was any one of these two. So you must list both of those, okay? So you're going to say 60 to 69, and then also say 70 to 79. This question, calculate the number of males who weighs 70 kilograms or more, but less than 90. Okay, so that would be these two categories. Now, you could also use this if you wanted to, but I think it's just easier over here. So it must be 70 kilograms or more, but less than 90. Okay, so it's going to be all of these people. So for the males, that was 5 plus 3, which is 8 people. This question says, determine the probability as a percentage. Okay, so probability can be calculated with fractions, percentages, decimals. Here they want a percentage of randomly selecting a learner who weighs 70 kilograms or more. Okay, so they didn't say male or female, so they're talking about everyone. So how many people are there in the school? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25. Okay, so there are 25 learners in this class. So out of the 25 learners, determine the probability that you choose a learner weighing 70 or more. Okay, so 70 or more. You could use this table if you want to, but I'm just going to use this. So for the females, they 70 or more, they 70 or more, they 70 or more, and they 70 or more. So how many people is that? 4 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 7 people. Then for the males, where's the 70 or more? It's here, here, and here. So 5 plus 3 plus 1 is 9. So what is 9 plus 7? 16. Now, because they want a percentage, you just say multiply by 100, and that'll be 64%.